In this video, I'm going to be talking about Claude projects. And the first thing I'm going to talk about is this right here, which is going to be how to organize conversations by context. It's a lot easier when you have Claude projects because you can organize everything better. You create a project and basically whatever you say is basically everything is persistent. So you can look up past chats and different things that you've done already. And it makes it a lot easier than just using the regular Claude without the projects, because what ends up happening is you get confused and you have to go back through a whole bunch of different chats that you had to try to find like past information. Second thing I'm going to be talking about with these is going to be how to use the custom instructions and behaviors so you can kind of shape what the project actually does and how it responds to you based on the information you put in. And the next thing I'm going to be talking about is going to be how to attach the files and like the knowledge base to it. So it kind of gives like, guidelines. You can upload documents, PDF files, different types of files, and it can draw from that information, and it will also help the responses, based on what the actual project is that you create, and it'll also help it respond better to you. All right, I'm back on Claude, and as you can see, this is just the blank page. By the way, to create projects with Claude, you have to be on one of the plans. It's not included with the free plan. So you can see right there, the regular pro plan is $20 a month, or you can do it annual. And these are the higher plans here. I just have the pro as of now. So I just wanted to make that clear for anybody that's trying to create projects with Claude. You have to have the pro plan. So what you would do is when you get to this main page here, you would come over to the left and you just click projects. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to use this prompt right here. And this is going to be one of the prompts. I'll link this in the description so you can have it for yourself. You can create. So what you want to do is you'll just go to click new project. And what I call it is just prompt creation agent, or you can just call it prompt creator if you want. And then for the description, I'm going to come down here and copy this. The description is going to be to create helpful prompts based on a certain niche that can be used to further create custom AI tools. So just paste that in here and you'll hit create project. So this is what it looks like when it's blank. First thing you want to do is the instructions here. You can also choose here the different ones. I mean, this is more expensive, Opus 4.7, so it's going to use up a lot more credits. So for the most part, I just use 4.6 unless I want to really, do something that's a lot deeper. I would use this one, but for this sake, I'll just use that 4.6. The instructions are going to be right here. This is where you would paste them in, and that's what you would use for the prompt creator, and you would paste that in. So as you can see, these are all the different frameworks, and you would fill in the niche here. And what that is the way you would prompt it. So like when you prompt it, you would put in the niche, and it would come back with a prompt specifically for a project in that niche, and it would fill all of this stuff in here that you see. And this is the response structure. So you would save it like that, and the way you would prompt it would be, I came up with this prompt here. So this one's topic research specialist agent. So what this will do is it'll create a tool for actually researching topics. So what I'll do is I'll go ahead and send that off, and then I will be back once it finishes, and I will show you the result of this. All right, it finished, and this is the topic research specialist agent prompt. And right here you can see that it gave it a huge role here. It actually filled in, it's a pretty good amount. And then right there is the key responsibilities, expertise. So typical challenges, current projects, terminology. So it did pretty good here. It's just a pretty huge prompt that you could use to create a topic research agent. And what you would do is you would paste this in to a project, and then you would prompt it to research a topic. It even tells you right here how to use this going forward. Replace niche in the skeleton with any domain. and fill each category with domain specific content. So what I'll do is I'll copy this. I'll click on copy. And what I'll do is I'll go to projects and I will create a new project and I will call this topic research agent. So I can now research whatever topics I would like. For description, what am I trying to achieve? To research any given topic based on the user given niche, or you could put something like that, whatever you want to do. Create project, and then what I would do is I would go in here into the instructions and then I would paste that entire prompt in here. I personally like to go back and delete all these pound symbols. I'm not sure why it does that. I'm sure there's a reason for it, but after I do this, I'll go ahead and show you what it can do. There's the tone, the response structure, and as you can see, it's a pretty big prompt, like I mentioned before. So it should give us some pretty good results based on the niche. So what I plan to do is I plan to give it a prompt based on the hiking niche, I would say, just to see as an example like what it could do, what it could say about the research. Let me go back through here and look. All right, so I will go ahead and I will save these. There we go. There's some more there. You could basically do whatever you want. You could edit that however you'd like. I'll just say, give me 3 ideas for camping trips and include the following information. And for that information, I'll just say 2 types of state parks and activities. And once this is done, I'll go ahead and send this off, and I will be back to show you the results of this one. And it came up with a pretty good response here. It even tags them here: forest, state park, mountain state park, fly fishing. So it gives you daily activities just like I put in there. It's got trip 1 here, trip 2 here. Here's the 3rd one, Texas Hill Country. Same thing, got daily activities. This is the type of state park, Lake and Reservoir Park. These are Mountain State Park, River Corridor. So this is pretty good here too. It gives you like a quick breakdown of each trip. And just a quick mention, when you click this plus sign down here when you're typing in the prompts or putting in the prompts, you can see this is checked web research. That's why it does pretty good, because this is kind of like an add-on to the tool already, or just in general to Claude. And you can see it gives you got the research. So I plan on making some more videos, maybe including some of this stuff here to show like what it is, with the skills, with the connectors. You could add this to a project. This is already in here, topic research agent. So what I wanted to show was, I'll go back into projects here. And what I wanted to actually show was for the topic research agent, you could just, add files. So what I wanted to do was I wanted to go ahead and download this file here. So this will be as an HTML, it'll download it. I'll go ahead and download. And basically this portion is from what I mentioned earlier about how you can upload stuff to these projects that you create as like a knowledge base, and then you can kind of like ask questions against it. And ideally you want to upload, like a PDF or a Word doc or something that pertains to the actual tool itself. That way you get better results. So what I'll do is I'll do upload from device. I'll double click it, add it in here. And now what I can do is I can ask it a question. Like the question would be, from the state parks in your knowledge base. And by the way, this is just a question I'm coming up with. It's not something that you would have to ask, but I just wanted to make it pertain to what I uploaded. So what I'm going to do is put from the state parks in your knowledge base, which would be the easiest for someone with little to no knowledge of hiking. And I'm going to go ahead and send that off, and I'll be back to show you the results. All right, it's finished, and it gave a pretty good response. It said, I asked it from the state parks of your knowledge base, like you saw before. I was asking, if someone with little to no hiking experience, what would be the easiest park? And right here, it gave this executive summary. And it's basically saying the Florida Spring, North Central Florida, would be the easiest because it's the most accessible and because the terrain is flat. And, right here, terrain difficulty, primary activities, physical demand, beginner friendliness. It even ranked all three of them, and you can go farther based on what what niche you use, like what you want to do as far as if you're putting in, you wanted to research clothing or you wanted to research houses or whatever, anything. So it even gives you wins for 3 reasons for the one it mentioned, and then it gives you even deeper dives. So from what what I've been showing you, you can see what Claude Projects does. It's actually been around for 2 years, I think, or almost 2 years, June 2024. And what it does is it lets you organize everything. It gives you persistence, so you can organize your chats more instead of coming into the sidebar and finding all the different chats that you've done. I have a ton that are archived here, ones that I use, and if I use them, I'll look through it and I'll unarchive it and use it. I've created tons of different tools for a whole bunch of different reasons. So hopefully this gives you some idea. I would say if someone's into this type of thing, like if they want to use Claude a lot, I would say get the Pro plan and use projects, because it's a really, really good way to organize all of your thoughts and ideas. So I just wanted to give a quick thank you for watching, and I will see you in the next one.